It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, folks, today we're going to jump in that gigantic, sharp, interactive board. I want to share my thoughts on the Xerox Partner Summit. I've already hung up my badge, so yes, I did go. There's the official proof. What a fantastic time at this event. You know, ladies and gentlemen, while I was at this event, something really dawned on me. I mean, I guess I knew this, subconsciously maybe, but it really hit home. And what that was is that Xerox is the only player in our industry that's truly led by a global team. Think about it. If you're a Konica dealer, a Ricoh dealer, a Sharp dealer, a Toshiba dealer, pick your flavor. You go to a meeting. You're not talking to the global leaders. I mean, I would say that a lot of you don't even know who the CEO of the OEM you work for is. You know the local leadership. If the meeting's held in America, you have the CEO of Americas. If it's held in Europe, you have the CEO of Europe. But at Xerox, there's one global leadership team. When you go to the meeting, the CEO of Xerox is there on stage talking to you. The CFO is there that you can talk to just by walking up and saying hi. The head of their entire IT services business is there. The channel partner leader for the whole world is there. The president and COO is there. And ladies and gentlemen, when you listen to the CEO and the president and chief operating officer of Xerox, the one thing that you really can get really quick is their alignment. When you listen to the other leaders, the one thing you can get is how they all align. I'm sure they have internal conflicts. Most good leadership teams do. But when they're here at an event, they're the global leaders of a global organization with a message. And that message is, we're going to reinvent this company. And folks, I believe they will. I've been bullish on Xerox for a while. Look, don't get me wrong, it's going to be tough to reinvent this iconic brand. There is no doubt about it. But there's a reason they don't call it a transition, because a transition is just a permission to show up. Companies all over the world have to transition. Reinventing an iconic brand is a whole different strategy. And it's really, really interesting when you put in perspective that Xerox is the only player in our industry where all the actors deal with one global leadership team. It's something to think about. This leadership team is closer to the street than any other leadership team in our industry. That's just a fact. And I think that's something that we need to put in perspective when we think about Xerox. Xerox talked about their board, and I would say this to Steve. I mean, maybe at the meeting in Nashville, the next meeting is going to be in Nashville, you could bring some of these board members to talk, because some of these board members could share some really interesting insight to the audience. And this board, I did an episode on this not too long ago. I think I'm going to do another one coming soon. But this board is very, very interesting. It's got some really strategic key players. But I think some of the stories this board could share with your dealer network could be very, very interesting. Just some advice from the end of the day with Ray for the next meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, what makes a winning partner? One of the slides: vision, growth mindset, communication, trust, swagger, fearlessness, accountability. I put boldness in parentheses by swagger and fearlessness. I would say this to all of the Xerox partners all over the world. Be bold. I mean, your leader, your CEO, in his keynote said the word boldness like 6 times, 7 times. He appreciates boldness, I assure you. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Because he knows it's only going to be through boldness that things will, in fact, reinvent themselves. It's only going to be through vision, clear vision. It's only going to be through growth, through a growth mindset, the ability to communication, to have accountability. These are great points for a winning partner. These are great points for a winning partner, whether it's the Xerox or whether that's the dealer. But dealers and partners of Xerox, don't be afraid to be bold by any stretch of the imagination. They talked a little bit about Xerox. I would say this, that, when they said that they were going to, retire the Lexmark name in certain parts of the world, it'd be Xerox. I was excited about that. I wish they'd do it all throughout the whole world. But that's a good play. We'll still see where this all lands out. I do, and I've shared some concerns before. We'll see how it all lands out. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt at this point. But Xerox stood on stage and they said they don't intend to be a victim of consolidation. They intend to be the consolidator. I mean, they're not going to mess around. And when I think about Xerox, and I think about all the actors in our industry, the major players, it was Xerox has done the most bold things since pre-COVID in our industry. They tried to buy HP, pretty damn bold. They bought Lexmark. I mean, I would say, why did these other folks buy Lexmark? You know, Xerox is out there trying to buy Lexmark. Pretty bold stuff. They're not afraid to be bold. And I think partners should really think about that. And they should emulate that in their own business. I got to tell you, anytime I go to a Xerox meeting, it's always great to meet people from around the world. I just want to throw some names out there, but Stephen Hawkins and Cliff over there at Xerotech. It was great to meet you and learn about your business in the UK. My good friend Warren Mandy of Altron in South Africa. And by the way, I'll be back in South Africa in like less than a week. I'm excited about that. And then Michael and his team over at NBM in Ireland. I will tell you this, you know, when you're talking to the folks in Ireland, there will be Jamesons involved, just as a warning. But folks, I mean, what meetings do you get to go to where the entire leadership team for the whole world is there with access? I mean, the dealers were having one-on-ones with the CEO of a global organization. It doesn't happen. Where is it a meeting you could go and talk to dealers from all over the world and learn about their businesses? Learn about what's different in their parts of the world. Geopolitics is playing a big role in all industries. This is what makes Xerox very unique. You know, back in 2017, I wrote an article, The Intersection Where the Digital and Physical Worlds Meet. Digital services must be about creating better experiences for the end user journey towards achieving their desired outcome. I went through where they had all the software that they were showing. You know, Xerox has all their software they're showing everybody. And folks, I got to tell you something. As we reinvent Xerox, as dealers reinvent themselves, what we have to start with is that customer. We have to ask ourselves, is this software that we're providing this end user going to help that end user achieve a desired outcome with an exceptional experience? And I believe that experience will be in the intersection between the digital and physical worlds. I said it back in 2017 and nothing's changed. Let me read a section of this article I wrote back in 2017. It seems unbelievable that any logical business person living today would ever question the reality that all products and services are susceptible to obsolescence. Today's business world lives in both a physical and digital or virtual world. We have gone so far past the place where ideas and imaginations were held hostage by the restraints of limited technology and our physical reality. With today's technologies, one's imagination can be fueled and nurtured in the realms of a virtual world and then completely disrupt the physical world. Innovative companies understand that customer experience lives at the intersection where the digital and physical worlds meet. And when I'm looking at all the software applications that Xerox has, they understand that intersection. I've even heard their CEO talk about that intersection. But I urge all of my friends, I urge all of the software developers at Xerox, when you develop this software, develop it about the end user achieving an outcome. Don't develop these softwares based on a user using a machine to achieve a desired outcome you may perceive. We need to develop all of our softwares for this reinvention of our industry based on these end users' outcomes. And we need to look past the box. We need to look at this intersection where experiences are determined and figure out how we're going to help navigate businesses through this intersection. Just some advice from Bragg. I believe the reinvention success will be about dominating the end user's journey through the intersection between the digital and physical worlds. I believe Xerox, being a global company, being led by one global leadership team. I get it, they have their leaders in certain geographies, right? That's just common. But the overall mission the overall vision, the communication is driven from one team, one global leadership team that dealers have access to. So important. You know, this was so, I just love this slide that Xerox showed. They showed this Wall Street Journal. You know, I got a picture of it and it's kind of blurry, but it says Xerox, the iconic brand that reinvented itself. And it was their vision of a Wall Street Journal article in the future. And folks, you know, I've always said this, if you're not there in your mind first, you'll never be there in person. And this was really exciting for me to see that both John Bruno and Steve and B, they're on a mission. All industries players, which leaders have the most to gain? I want you all to think about that as you work for Xerox. These two gentlemen, the CEO of Xerox and the president and COO of Xerox, have so much to gain. Because if they turn around this iconic brand, if they reinvent this iconic brand, it's simple. They'll write a damn book about them. I kind of imagine this book, Xerox Iconic Brand Reinvention, from hardware and hallways to mastering the intersection between the digital and physical world. Stephen Bandrowczak and John G. Bruno. For Lou, he did it at IBM. I do believe there will be a book written about these leaders, or no one will know who the hell they are. And when you have that kind of an opportunity to have books written about you, or no one know who the hell you are, I got to tell you, that's pretty motivating. The next thing you just got to ask yourself, are these the leaders that can do it? But when I listen to these leaders, when I talk to them as individuals, I have a sense that they are those leaders. Will it be easy? Hell no, nothing ever is. But I don't think easy is what they do. There's been plenty of books written about failed organizations and failed attempts. We've all seen them. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that leaders get a chance, one big chance. And you got to admit, this is a big chance for Stephen and John. There's no doubt about it. And the people that work there with them. But at the end of the day, let's focus on the leaders here. This is a big chance for them. Does anybody really believe they're going to screw it up? If you look at their resumes, if you look at their backgrounds, you realize that they're the guys that can do this. And they'll modify their teams along the way. I assure you that happens. But they're going to succeed. And I strongly suggest that all the Xerox partners get bold. Get on the journey with them. I think it's a real damn good bet. Reinvention takes boldness and actions. Evaluate the boldness of actions more than the talk tracks. A lot of leaders talk a lot of shit. Talk a lot about reinvention, transition. But when you look at their actions, they fall short. I assure you, as Xerox goes through this reinvention, there's going to be painful times for partners. There's going to be changes. But Xerox intends to be the consolidator, not fall victim to the consolidation. That's a strong, bold mindset for your leader. And I strongly suggest that all dealers, regardless of who your partners are, it will take boldness. It will take vision and trust. Because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck there, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.